It's Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by my good friend and former top pro, Spencer Oliver. Spencer, how you doing, mate?
Dan, very well, mate. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very good. Bad blood, they're calling this fight between Fabio Wardley and Frazer Clarke. We can see over there now. Doesn't look like he's got bad blood in him at the moment. He's grinning, he's happy. I'm sure that'll all change. How do you kind of weigh it up? Seems like a crossroads fight.
Absolutely. Listen, I think that it's a great fight. You know, I think that what Frazer Clarke is trying to achieve is he's trying to become the quickest ever Briton to win a British title. You know, he's doing it in his 9th fight. No one's ever done that before, and that, you know, that tells you the size of the task in front of him. Forget that Fabio Wardley has no amateur pedigree, no amateur background. He's learnt his trade on the job, like 17 fights, 17 wins, 16 KOs. Like Nathan Gorman, for me, was a coming-of-age fight for him. I think that's where we saw, oh, wait a minute, this guy can actually fight. And then against David Adelaide, was another great win last time out. So Wardley was start the favourite going into this one because Clarke's not proven at this level. You know, he's great amateur pedigree and all that, but amateurs, professional boxing, two totally different things. You know, from Frazer, what we haven't seen yet is that whether he can go through the gears or not. If you look at like Marius Wack, when he boxed Marius Wack in 22, is a fight where you go, right, this is an opportunity for you here to showcase what you can do. If we didn't quite get that, he just, like, you know, he went through and he won the fight and didn't really go through the gears. And then last time out against Dave Allen, we got a similar thing as well. So I think it's all about Wardley being proven at this level and Frazer Clarke, let's see if he can deliver, you know, and he knows that himself, Frazer, as well. I spoke to him earlier on and he said, listen, I know where I'm at. I know it's a must-win fight for me. Forget that, you know, like, if I don't win this fight, you get, you know, that's your level, British level, and I want to achieve more than that. So he has to come through this fight, but it's a great fight, man. It's a great fight.
Wardley's on the brink of world level now. He's ranked by some of the major governing bodies. Been British champion for some time. What's in this for Fabio Wardley? Because it seems like he's taking the risk here.
Yeah, listen, I think it's just, listen, it's a big fight, isn't it? Like, I think that's what's in it. Like, Frazer Clarke has that, you know, that brilliant amateur pedigree, and, you know, there was big noise around him when he turned professional and whatnot. And for Wardley, you know, he's looking at the landscape and where it is, and it's called prize fighting, where you can generate the most money. This is a big money fight for both of these guys, you know what I mean? So why wouldn't Wardley do that? He goes, look, you know, I reckon, you know, I think I can win this fight. I want to get the British title, the British belt outright. And this is a great opportunity for him against a guy that's got a big name in Frazer Clarke, a guy that's recognised, and so that's why he's going through it. He's going, like, you know, he'll want to go on to European and world level, but this is a good fight, man. Dan, it's all about, you know, financial security and whatnot as well. And I think that this was probably where he generates the most money.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Do you think the winner of this moves on towards the world scene and maybe some of those big fights out in Saudi as well, because that's a new kind of carrot for them now, heavyweights?
Absolutely, I think especially for Fabio Wardley, because he's sort of like developed on the road as a professional, and he's had, you know, he's got that experience now. I think for Frazer Clarke, if he wins this fight, that'll be his 9th fight, which is insane. He wins this fight, and then he needs to stay at this level because he needs to learn. You know what I mean? You need to develop as a pro because it's two totally different games, amateur professional boxing. So for Frazer, it would be a slower progress, I believe. I think they're sticking with British, keep him here, and then maybe move him to European before world. For Fabio, he comes through this one, and he's going to be looking for bigger things much faster as well. And like you say, with the investment of Turkey Al Sheikh now and the Saudi Arabians, like, you know, there's big opportunity for these heavyweights out there, and there's also big money out there as well, and that's what it's all about. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the fight goes, but I think for a victory for both guys takes them to a different place.
Now, before we move back to the heavyweights, we're talking there about Frazer winning a British title quicker than anyone. We recently saw Adam Azim, his promotional stablemate, win a European title incredibly early in his career. It's been announced today that the European Boxing Union have called for purse bids for him against Dalton Smith, the British champion. Do you think, with the divide between promoters, do you think it will happen?
I really hope it does, because, you know, I think that we've heard promoters recently saying, Eddie Hearn said it, Ben Shalom said it, even Frank Warren said it. He said, listen, now we want to start putting in the best against the best. You know, it's about them now proving themselves, you know, not building their careers and their records so much. Let's put the best against the best, and this is the best against the best, you know, that we've got in Britain. I think British Commonwealth European titles on the line. Dalton Smith, Adam Azim is a great fight. You know, Dalton Smith probably got the more experience of the two, but Adam Azim didn't look particularly good against Enoch Poulsen last time out. I thought he looked a little bit flat. Every fighter's entitled to that. You know, there's been a lot of hype around Adam Azim. and a lot of talk about him going on, not if he wins a world title, but when he wins a world title and all that. It's a great fight for both of them, I think. I think that it's a fight that the loser obviously can come back from, because, but I think if the winner really kicks him on and puts him into a good position. So I hope that happens. Look, listen, Eddie Hearn's going to want that fight big time. Ben Shalom and Boxer are going to want that fight big time. So let's hope that the promoters have got deep pockets, and let's hope that the British fight fans get the fight that they want, because that is a great fight.
I agree. Big news, obviously, over the last week has been the Tyson Fury situation with the Usyk fight. Just first of all, before we get into the depths of it, was it a punch? Was it an elbow? What do you make of the conspiracy theories we've seen?
I think it was definitely a punch that landed. Whether the elbow went through or not, it's difficult to say, because we've seen the video footage and it's like a short shot. So I don't know whether the elbow connected or it didn't connect. That would be unfair of me to say that. But it was definitely a shot that landed as well. And it happens, Dan. Do you know what I mean? I think the conspiracy theory around, you know, was it old footage? Was it this? Was it that? No, it wasn't old footage. It was something that happens in sparring. Fury spars with an open head guard. He doesn't wear the cheek piece and whatnot. And, you know, it was just an unfortunate thing. It happened to George Foreman, actually, many years ago. You know, when he was going into the fight with Muhammad Ali, he got cut. Yeah, he got cut before that, and it was delayed. It was delayed. This cut seems more serious, though. Like, as in, I know they've remade the date for May the 18th. That concerns me a little bit, because I think it's a little bit too soon. But not because the cut won't heal, but it's about the training you got to do before that, the sparring you got to do before that, the intense sparring you got to do that. He's got to hope that that tissue, which will be, like, you know, will be fragile. He's got to hope that that doesn't reopen. So let's hope we get the fight on. I know there was a £10 million forfeit for the guy that doesn't turn up. So for Fury's sake, let's hope that that cut holds out, because that's a big forfeit, man. But look, let's hope. We want the undisputed fight. We haven't had one since 1999 when you go Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield. So that's how often they come around, and we want the undisputed fight. And then that sets up big fights with possibly like Fury, AJ, which we've wanted, which British fight fans have wanted, you know, for ages. So let's hope that we do get the fight that for the undisputed. But you know, it does raise concerns because of the extent of the cut, and that raises concerns for me, because I just go like, I hope he can get through that training camp, you know, unscathed, and it doesn't resurface and doesn't reopen. But I hope he comes through it, Fury, because I want to see the undisputed.
And when they resume training camp, if you were in Fury's position, A, would you wear a full face head guard from now on, and B, would you invite that sparring partner back?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't know what the situation was. I think they left on good terms. I think it was just one of those things, Dan, that happens. Yeah, why not invite him back? They got him there for a reason, because they felt that he was beneficial to Fury's sparring because of the Oleksandr Usyk style and whatnot. So, yeah, of course, why not get him back? You know, I think that Fury has to protect that eye, and I don't know how he does that in sparring, maybe wears something over it or whatever. He needs to protect that eye, but your concern is obviously in fight night, and you go there, Usyk's got them, you know, he peppers with the shots, you know, and that, when it hits the skin, that can cause damage. So that is a concern for you, and it's a massive advantage for Oleksandr Usyk. But look, people that, you know, these conspiracy theories that are floating around about Tyson Fury and was it old footage and whatnot, of course it wasn't old footage. Like, you know, put that to bed. Like, this is something that happens, and it was unfortunate it happened to David Haye when he was fighting Fury, actually back in 2013, you know. But it's sometimes because of Fury and his antics and the way that he goes on and slagging people off when they pull out of fights for whatever reason, like he done with David Haye. Sometimes it's like the boy that carried wolves. So all of a sudden you get loads of conspiracy theories. Was it real? Was it not real? Is it old footage and whatnot? Yeah, it was real, and the fight's been postponed, and now they've set a new date. Let's hope we get it.
We saw Joshua Buatsi beat his good friend Dan Aziz last week. Seemed a clear victory in the end. Do you think it's Anthony Yarde for him next, or is it world titles?
I would like to say Anthony Yarde. I think that, you know, the undisputed title fight in the light heavyweight division is tied up. You know, June the 1st, and Dmitry Bivol versus Beterbiev. So yeah, I would like to say Anthony Yarde. That's a fight that I'd love to see. That would be a great fight, and I think that the British fight fans would love to see that as well. It's a fight that's been talked about for a few years now. Let's hope that we get that, you know, whilst this undisputed fight goes on, because we don't know what's going on with that. We don't know when the other titles will become vacant, or whether the champion of that fight will want to defend against, you know. So I think that there's an opportunity there, definitely. You know, you're talking about June the 1st, we're now February. I'd love to see. Wouldn't you like to see that Yard? But you know, that would be a great fight. Yard versus Boatsy, man. Let's hope we get it.
Last weekend we also saw Conor Benn's latest outing over in the US. Apparently his hearing for his appeal, or sorry, the board and UKAD's appeal against him goes up in a couple of weeks' time. What do you make of it? Because Ben's obviously, you know, he's staying active, but he's probably not making a lot of money. Hearn's probably not making a lot of money putting him on in the US.
No, definitely not. Look, I think that he needs to, you know, get this sorted out with the British Boxing Board of Control, and until he does that, there's always going to be a cloud over him. He's always going to be judged. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's been going on way too long. I know that, you know, Eddie's taken him out to America and he's been boxing under a different license or whatnot, but it's still there. Do you know what I mean? It still needs to be sorted out, because until he does that, then no one, you know, I don't think he's going to ever get the respect that he, you know, that he wants. And we've seen that. He's gone sort of like, you know, we've seen the public perception of him now is something totally different, and that's down to the way that they've dealt with the case. I think it's been terrible the way that it's been dealt with, and I think that he should have confronted the British Boxing Board way before he has. So let's see how that hearing goes. What did I make of the fight against him and Peter Dobson? I thought it was a good fight. It was all right. Peter Dobson was competitive. We didn't know nothing about him before he come in, unbeaten in 16. But you know, there was nothing to suggest that he was going to give Conor any problems. And I thought he had his moments in the fight, and it was decent. Another points win for Conor Benn, which raises a lot of, you know, a lot of talk about, you know, where's the punch power gone? Well, that's for you to judge. Do you know what I mean? That's for you to judge. But yeah, Conor needs to sort this out if he wants to move on and sort of gain that respect that he's looking for.
And just finally, 3 potential fights have been kind of mooted for Conor Benn next. Chris Eubank Jr., Devin Haney, and more surprisingly, Gervonta Davis, or he's now known as Abdul Wahid. Yeah. Out of those 3, which one would you most like to see for Conor Benn?
No, it's none of them really, if I'm totally honest. I think that, you know, like, fights are made on social media, and Conor Benn's calling out everyone and his dog. Like, he'll call out absolutely anyone, you know what I mean? And then you can't call out all them names and then fight Peter Dobson. And then, you know what I mean? You just go like, no, look, obviously they want a big fight for him for obvious reasons. You know what I mean? There's been, there's been a lot of costings over what's been going on. But look, he needs to prove himself against a world-class fighter, and we've not seen that yet. So forget like Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis, and like, you know, you're talking about like sort of pound-for-pound stars. You know what I mean? They're big fighters, and you got to earn your stripes a little bit there. Like, it's not earned on social media or slagging each other off and whatnot. I would like to see him against a world-class opponent, and, you know, then we take it from there.
Spencer, really appreciate it, mate.
Cheers, Dan.